And the Slammy goes to this crowd tonight for NXT. Best crowd ever in the history of ever. Ever. Welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. But for real though, that crowd was amazing. They literally chanted everything. This whole show was awesome. There was some things that made me sad, and I have no idea what the hell WWE's thinking with certain matches that ended the way that they did, that involved tag teams and belts and not changing of belts in tag team matches. And what's wrong with you? Anyway, any just thoughts about the show in general before we get into it?
Well, first off, did you break anything? I know you promised on the prediction show that you were going to Connecticut. I'm surprised you're still in Pennsylvania right now. It looks like you're still in Pennsylvania from what I can see. But you said you were going to Connecticut. You were going to break stuff. Maybe you're waiting till tomorrow. You got to get some rest. Got to get that energy up. Maybe eat some spinach and whatnot. What's going on apart from Connecticut?
Well, I mean, I'm planning on going to Connecticut, but what I want to do is I want to go during business hours so I can go in the building and break shit. I don't want to just do it outside. I want to go in there. Hopefully, Triple H is there. Maybe, I don't know what he's doing. Hopefully he's there. But I'm gonna cause as much of a scene as I can. I could go now, but it's late, it's dark outside. It's not gonna be as effective. If not, there's not a lot of people there. But it will happen. Heads will roll.
Okay. And to address this crowd, yes. I think just UK crowds in general are some of the greatest crowds. I was talking to Sharia, and I was like, you guys thank some of the greatest fans I've ever heard in my life. And she was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, oh, that's a little much. But they really are. They're really vocal. And maybe it's because they don't love mainstream wrestling all the time. Like WWE is in America all the time. I just mentioned this in his review earlier. WWE is in America all the time. But when you go to the UK, it's special to them, which I kind of that's kind of how the WrestleMania crowd feels as well, and the post WrestleMania crowd, the Raw after WrestleMania crowd, kind of special moment, so they get a little bit more riled up. But I feel like I wish I love wrestling in the UK. I think they're one of the top 5 crowds, in the history of wrestling, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing I've always kind of wondered what it's like to be specifically a WWE fan from other countries, because WWE is a US based promotion, and 90% of the year they're within the United States. They do European tours and stuff like that, but that's only a couple weeks out of the year. So I always wondered, what it's like to be a fan abroad, But I imagine it would be kind of similar to being a fan of like New Japan, stuff like that, not as, a little bit bigger scale, because, WWE obviously is, the granddaddy of them all, as far as promotions, at least, worldwide. I feel like, but getting into this show, as usual, for some reason, when I wrote that out, I wrote as usually, because I can spell and make sentences that make sense. I don't know. As usual, Takeover opens with Triple H. That's kind of a thing that they've been doing with Takeovers. He kind of opens the show. He says that Sunday he got his ass kicked, but it's not the first time. It sure as hell won't be the last time, but he'd have had to be dead for him to miss Takeover, which was kind of cool. I like that he kind of, is out of the authority kind of gimmick when he is at Takeover or when he comes to Takeover, which is cool, you know, because deep down, I love Triple H. You know, I grew up with Triple H. He was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. And, you know, it's fun to hate him on Raw and, you know, SmackDown and stuff like that. But it's cool to have him, you know, be that you know, the kind of the founder of NXT and, you know, supporting it still, which is cool because it is kind of his baby. It was his idea and everything. And then we got a pretty good video package, basically just kind of showing all the feuds and all the matches that we will see tonight. Any thoughts on either the openings?
I definitely like opening. I've always liked the Triple H openings, and after thinking about it a little bit early on, I feel like, you know, it's just kind of, it makes it feel, because, you know, you don't see any other special event, you know, start out with the, you know, kind of owner of the company or owner of the brand or whatever, the general manager, I guess you could say, hypothetically speaking. You don't see it there, you know, just kind of embracing the fans, not, you know, cutting a promo, but not really cutting like a legit, like scripted, like, you know, we were going to have this match on the show, you know, it's just kind of something different. And I think, you know, it kind of plays off of NXT a little bit, because NXT is kind of the alternative, and it plays off of it a little bit, which I think is really cool. Mostly, I just think it's just something they like it. I hope he keeps doing it, especially for these events that he doesn't necessarily have to do it every time, but I think for these events that are in, you know, other countries, like, it's just kind of, it makes it feel a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely. And in a way, it almost kind of reminds me a little bit of, you know, early, you know, 90s pay-per-views, back when, you know, the pay-per-views would open and you would hear Vince McMahon kind of talking about what was going on that night. You know, he would be announcing the big matches and things like that. It just kind of reminds me of that a little bit, which I like. But anyway, we open up with Asuka versus Emma. I love that the ring announcer announced it as the women's division match, not a Divas match. It's just, you know, I like that they, you know, refer to it as women's and not Divas until you get up to the freaking main roster and then Divas and blah. But we got Emma, you know, looking all kinds of good with them aviators. I like it, you know. Asuka, a little scary was getting into the Asuka's gonna kill you chance. I mean, she was dancing to it. She was getting down. I was afraid for Emma's life a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I still can't get over how kind of quick and smooth Asuka is in the ring. It's almost like she can't botch anything. I mean, unless somebody is on the podcast as a guest, and, you know, and then everybody botches everything ever. And I just botched, honestly. Nice running. I call it the rear view, but it's the hip attack off of the apron by Asuka. Emma did start to take some control after distraction by her partner, who shall not be named. What I predicted did come true to an extent. Emma did kind of have firm control for a while there, but it never really, at least to me, it never really felt like she was in complete control to a point where I thought she could actually get the win. It always just seemed like, you know, she was in control for a couple minutes, but in general, the entire match, it seemed like Asuka was still in firm control. You know, like she could change the momentum at any point, which I don't know if I really like that much. But Can Asuka please? I just have one request. Stop hitting Emma in the beautiful face. Stop it. She's so pretty. Please stop hitting her in the face. I do not appreciate that. But I actually felt like I didn't see as much of, and I don't know if you agreed on this, I didn't see as much of that kind of underlying awkwardness that we've talked about from Emma that we still kind of see in her matches. I didn't feel like we really saw that tonight, which was a surprising, difference, and I liked it. But, this was a really good match. It wasn't, I'm not going to say it was the best match we've seen in the women's division in NXT. Obviously, I think that's still Bayley and Sasha Banks at TakeOver Brooklyn. But this one was definitely a good match to open the show. Thoughts on the match?
Asuka versus Emma. This was a great match. It was. First off, Emma and Dana as a unit are really growing on me. I think at first they were kind of awkward together, just because they're different. And I feel like they were like tonight. The entrance just looked really good. Emma with the sunglasses and Dana just being Dana. It just looks pretty cool for some reason. I really liked it. Asuka, yeah, she was down to this is gonna kill you chance. I thought that was pretty funny. Let's see here. I agree with you that Asuka, and when you watch her move at times, like she doesn't seem as quick as she really is. There's some times when you're like, wait, what just happened? Something from a movie. Like it's really cool. Like when you watch Asuka, wrestle, she's really good. Emma, I feel like this wouldn't match for Emma. I thought this is one of Emma's best matches that I've seen. She looked really good. Like you said, she didn't have that like weird arc that helped her a lot in this match. The butterfly suplex by Emma into the corner, and then the MMA sandwich. I love that. I love butterfly suplexes. Anything with the double underhook, I'm a big fan of. Butterfly suplexes, tiger bombs. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Emma with the nice reversal out of the Emma lock into the ankle lock and then the German suplex. I was like, did Kurt Angle just come out into the building? Fans were chanting Suplex City, but I was like, you suck. I was bringing that old school Kurt Angle back out there, man. Asuka ended up winning with that spinning round kick. When Dana did get involved, it wasn't like to the point where it was the show, but it was just she was there, so obviously she's gonna get involved. I definitely I like Asuka a lot. I would go as far to say she's one of my favorites. I'm gonna call her, and I've already said this, so I can't take it back now. So I'm gonna stick with it. I think she's the best. I think she's the best in the world. I think she's the best in WWE, and I think she's the best in the world. Personally, it's just my personal opinion. I think she's really good. Like, just how fluid she is, how she can change speeds on a dime. She's just really good. I haven't seen, I've seen a lot of impressive coming out of NXT, even in TNA, but Asuka might be. I would like to see an Asuka Gail Kim match. I think that would be one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. But Asuka might be the girl. As far as women's wrestling is concerned, that's just my personal. Yeah, that's about it. There, I don't know if it was that bold. It was pretty true.
But have you seen Alexa Bliss? Have you?
Alexa Bliss is probably one of the best looking in the world. The ring, and Asuka's not a bad looking chick. She may not come off as the wham wham. I don't know how to I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I'm saying. Like, She might not come off like that, but you know, she ain't terrible. I like her personally. One of my favorites. Wham blam. That's how we're gonna describe it from now
Wham
on.
blam. Alexa Bliss coming out with the wham blam. I have no idea what that is, but okay, we're gonna go with it. Next, moving on from that awkward, wham blam, and you say flippity dippity is bad. Um, they showed Finn Balor arriving earlier in the night with his boys Cass and Enzo. You know, they tight. And then they showed Joe arriving a little bit later alone because he has no friends. It's actually quite sad. It's so sad. Then we see a video package basically of the tag team championship feud. I like that they showed, you know, even really early clips of Enzo and Cass, like back when they first started, you know, tagging together. You know, that was really cool. Any thoughts on either, you know, Finn and his boys, or, you know, the lack of friendship that Joe has, or the video package?
You know, Joe doesn't need friends. You know, he is ready. He was ready for the night. You could even say ready, willing, and able. You know, with Samoa Joe for tonight. You know, but you know, I thought it was pretty cool to see Finn walking in there with Cass and Enzo. You know, I thought it was just kind of cool to kind of see the scenery too. So I was excited.
Yeah. Next, we get the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Enzo and Cass, the rightful tag team champions, with Carmella, the beautiful Carmella, versus Dash and Dawson, the cheaters that don't deserve the titles. I'm gonna give DJ this match because it made me sad. I'm gonna have to go through years of therapy, and it made me sad. So take it away.
Already. So Enzo and Cass versus Dash and Dawson for the NXT Tag Team Championships. You know, when Enzo and Cass come out, I always get a little hype, and I was a little upset. Just going in, I was a little upset going in because I was like, we might not get, you know, the soft tonight because they're trying to Enzo and Cass, but we got it anyway, and I was hyped. I was ready. You know, I was up on my feet, you know, running around, you know, tripping over cords and stuff. But you know what? Hype nonetheless. You know, Enzo with his promo was not playing around tonight. Nice little wet leg sleep. Cass was laying in some heavy shots on Dawson. I mean, on Wilder. I was like, man, those things like they hurt a little bit. The numbers game would get you though. Cass would throw Enzo out of the ring, just tossing into Dash and Dawson. Dash and Dawson would start to work the left arm of Enzo, facebuster by Dash and Dawson. Diving DDT by Enzo gets Cass in. Really nice looking diving DDT too. I liked it. Dawson goes after the knee of Cass. Just as Cass really, you know, he gets it going. He gets hype. He gets on that hot tag. He goes at inverted figure four by Wilder. Enzo gets taken out. Enzo knocks Dawson off the turnbuckle. The big boot into the aided splash. And I thought right here, I was like, over. Yeah, it's over. They had him. He was pinned. It was over. Camera work was solid as well here. And 1, 2, and in the ring. And I was like, man, what just happened? But Enzo gets pulled out of the ring. We get a super show by Dash and Dawson for the win. And you're still your NXT Tag Team Champions, Dash and Dawson. I was really surprised that Dash and Dawson won. Obviously, Enzo and Cass are over. If they're over in London, they're over on Raw. You know, like it does, like if they're over all the way across the pond, they're obviously going to be over when they get to the main roster. So I don't even know if they really need the tag team titles, but I was expecting them to win. They've been there forever, and like it seems like they've had chance after chance after chance and haven't gotten them yet. And I'm still confused about it. And you know, where do you go with Dash right now? Dash and Dawson like it is out, but a true direction yet. They don't really know where they want to be. And Mickey Murphy, I feel like the last 2 tag team champions we've had for NXT really haven't had gimmicks you can really truly get behind. So I was hoping that maybe Cass and Enzo would win this with Dash and Dawson and Blake and Murphy. So then they can kind of build off of each other as far as characters are concerned, and then kind of find something to build off of. Because right now I just really don't see it. I don't see anything from them. I love the in-ring work of both of the teams, but as far as gimmicks are concerned and characters are concerned, I'm not getting it. But I'm hoping Enzo and Cass eventually get the NXT titles. I don't know what they're gonna do with Enzo and Cass at this point. Like it's not like they don't have the experience. It's not like they're not ready. They obviously have the chemistry. I don't know if they're gonna get like a call up without getting a tag team title run or something. I'm just not sure. I don't know what they're doing. But Casey, any thoughts on this match?
You know what? I've figured out what they're gonna do. I know exactly what they're gonna do. See, Enzo and Cass are so over. They are so over. They're bringing them right up to the main roster without the NXT titles, and they are so over that they're just gonna have the New Day hand Enzo and Cass the tag team titles. That is how over they are. They're just going to hand them the titles out of pure respect. That is exactly what's... But no, I have no idea what WWE is thinking. Nobody wants Dash and Dawson as the champions. Dash and Dawson fans don't want Dash and Dawson as champions. They're just... They're like Blake and Murphy, like DJ said. They don't have enough of a gimmick or character to get behind. I do like their sort of kind of throwback style, smash mouth kind of style, but that only bring you so far, and it gets boring after a while. I couldn't see them going up to the main roster right now and doing anything except for occasionally being thrown into triple threat tag team matches on like pre-shows. I think.
Do you feel like if they let them talk more, it would help? Because obviously they're just right now basically they're just the typical heel tag team, it seems like, and I feel like if they let them talk a little bit more, like maybe that would help, because we really don't know what they are. Justin calls them the mechanics. You're going with the old school style. We really I don't have a clue what they are. We just don't know what they are. And maybe if they let them talk some more, I don't really know what they could do with them. I mean, feud them with Blake and Murphy, and then they can build off of each other. But
I mean, I don't even know if that would work, because I mean, you can take 2 blank canvases and smash them together. Doesn't mean you're going to get anything out of it.
Well, they're not exactly blank, though. I mean, there's like a little bit there, and if you mix them together, sometimes you get a masterpiece. I'm just saying.
I mean,
letting you know.
I don't know. I don't know if doing something like that would help. I don't know. Like I was saying with Blake and Murphy a while back, if you split them up and have them work singles. I mean, that's what they did with Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger, and at least for Jason Jordan that worked out. He's in a new tag team now, but I mean, that Ty Dillinger wannabe, I mean, nothing's gonna help him.
Wait a minute, Casey. I'm just saying. So when the referee was counting people out, and he would get 9, and the London people would skip up ahead of number, and they got to 10, they went crazy. So there's a little bit of love for Ty Dillinger, even in London. They just don't get it.
With the
that's all. It's not on the way.
They were just excited for the count out. Okay. They wanted.
Who's excited for a count out? Tell me. Name one person.
Fans are excited for a count out. They were just teaching him how to count. He was counting slow. That's what it was. You know, he needs to get that cadence right. That's what that was. I mean, even though it was against somebody I didn't want to get counted out, but it's okay. Moving on. Since we had that long discussion about the, you know, Dawson and Dash and Buddy and Blake and Alexa Bliss. Oh, sorry. We get to see Bailey and Carmella arriving earlier that day, even though we had already seen Carmella, which was a little bit weird. But then we get the Nia Jax video package, kind of similar to the one that we got, you know, for 8 months before her debut. But I liked it. It was pretty cool. It was 8 months. Her debut was like 8 months. We had to wait so long. It was forever. I didn't think she was ever going to come. And then she came and I was underwhelmed, to be honest. But I mean, she is a fine. Don't say huge. Any thoughts on Baymella arriving to the arena or the video package?
Yeah, this caught me off guard. I had already seen it from the pre-show because it's like my ritual to watch the pre-show before the actual show, even if I don't watch it live. So you know, I had already seen them coming in, but it was just weird, like seeing Carmella out there in the ring and then seeing her come back in. I was like, wait, what? You know, it was just weird. Like, obviously you knew it wasn't live, but like the way they were presenting it to you, like made it feel like it was live a little bit. So it was just weird. I like Nia Jax personally. You know, I have an appreciation for the larger in stature wrestlers. Some of them, you know, I like Bull Dempsey. You know, he's my boy in the club. Not that my boy club, because technically, you know, she don't have the prerequisites, you know, to get in. But you know,
that is incredibly sexist that she can't be in your club.
He's in my girl club though. Like I have 2 separate clubs, you know.
Okay. I get it. Anyway, moving on before, you know, we get into, you know, gender roles and segregation, which, you know, you shouldn't have. You should just have one club, the club. That's it. That's all you should have. I mean, why you gotta split the genders? I don't know why. But we see last month when Corbin and Apollo Crews basically began their feud. We got a little bit of a video package on that. Any thoughts on that before we get into the match?
Not really. This was the second time I'd seen it, so not really. I just wanted to get to the match.
All right. So we get Apollo, or actually, Baron Corbin came out first. So we got Baron Corbin versus Apollo Crews. So I feel like we knew this was going to be an intense match, and I don't think it disappointed at all. I loved Corbin saying you should have stayed in Ring of Honor and you should have stayed in Little Gyms. I'm sure he got yelled at after the match for mentioning another company's name because you don't do that in WWE. We got a "fuck you, Corbin" chant. I like that. We also got some chant saying something about some shit or something. I couldn't quite make out what they were saying in that one, but it was a little bit weird seeing Apollo just being completely dominated, like he was for a while there. It was almost to the point where I didn't like it. I wanted to see just kind of an equal match between these two where, you know, one couldn't kind of outdo the other, because I feel like they're in a way equals in this match, and you know, that's what I was excited for. But Apollo did started coming back. Nice apron moonsault he got in. I feel like this is the match from Corbin that we kind of wanted to see for a long time. And DJ just left. So we're going to wait a minute. We're just going to pause for a second because he going to come right back in. He always does. Sometimes he gets kicked out because the internet sucks, but that's cool. I mean, he's not at school, so we got to wait. He's at home. He doesn't have the best internet. So we're going to wait a minute until he comes back. And we're going to get to know each other. So what's your favorite color? I like that color too. I'm partial to green, but I like that color too. Who's your favorite wrestler? No, John Cena is not a wrestler. Favorite wrestler, I said. I mean, okay. And look who's back. I think he's back. Yep, he's back. Did your computer shut off?
Yeah, it did.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. Like I was saying, I feel like this is the match from Corbin that we wanted to see for so long. Especially back when he'd only have like 30-second matches, and we weren't sure if he could kind of handle a long, intense match. So it was good to see that he could go in a long match and perform pretty well. Corbin gets the win on the end of days. I was actually surprised that Corbin got the win. I was expecting Apollo Crews to get the win the entire time. I don't know why. But I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with him now. If he's gonna get that call up yet, or if he's gonna be stuck down in NXT longer. Any thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I was surprised that Corbin got that one, but I did enjoy the match. I knew it was going to be a good match going into it. Just with these guys, there's a lot of talent within. There's a lot of talent within, so I expected it to be a pretty good match, regardless. I don't know. I wanted Corbin to win. Like, the fan of me was cheering for Baron Corbin, but I didn't expect him to win. I expected Cruz to win and on a big dominant streak of winning. So, but overall, I thought this was a really good match.
Yeah, it definitely was. Next, we get a Sami Zayn video package. Yay! And then he's returning next week. What? I was so angry and confused and depressed. I swear, everything said he was going to return to TakeOver. All the, wrestling news sites. I think WWE said he was returning at TakeOver. And what? So I got to wait another week for my boy Sami Zayn. He didn't even come cut a promo or anything, which I was kind of upset about. Any thoughts on the having to wait for the best in-ring performer in NXT's history besides Finn Balor?
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like, I saw the video package, I was like, yeah, Sami Zayn coming back. Yeah, I was excited. I was ready. I was hyped. And they did that to me. And they said next week. And I was like, wait, what? Because they never, he was going to return at TakeOver. They were just, next week he's returning. This was last week, though. So, by logistics, I was like, okay, so next week is TakeOver, so he's returning at TakeOver. He didn't return to TakeOver. He returned. I'm like, why don't you just say 2 weeks? Like, why are you playing with my emotions, WWE? You do this to me too much. Quit doing this to me. This is not funny. It's not funny. I almost cut the show off. I was like, I quit. You know what? I'm done. I'm done with you, WWE. But I didn't. I decided to stick around for the rest of the show.
Yeah.